Hi everybody, welcome to the Lot Pod, the Leeds Rhinos Lot 17A podcast, kindly sponsored by ACD&B, who are a branding and creative design agency based in Farsley, Leeds. They create standout brands. So if any businesses out there or companies need a brand refresh, a new logo, just get in touch with ACD&B. Thanks as always to them for sponsoring us. It's very kind. This is another Lot Pod special. We've been so lucky to have so many special guests over the past couple of months. We've got another. Joining me for this one, off the subs bench, he is our super sub. He is our Jared O'Connor of the Lot Pod. It is Laurie. How are you, mate?
Not so bad, mate. How are you doing? All good? Looking forward to tomorrow.
Really good. And really lucky again because our special guest, 2004 Grand Final winner, Danny Ward. How are you, Dan?
I'm fantastic, mate. How are you?
Yeah, brilliant. Thanks for coming on and speaking to us again. We really do appreciate
Thanks
it.
for inviting me.
No, it's our pleasure. It's our pleasure. I think a good starting point is obviously your career. Am I right in saying you made your debut in 1999 against, was it Sheffield Eagles?
Sheffield Eagles, yeah, old Dunbally Stadium, yeah, when I was 18 years old, yeah.
You got many memories of that one?
It was a Sky game as well, which was always classed to make debut on Sky as well. I felt proper big timer, and it was 18 years old. It was unbelievable. It's all you kind of dreamt of since starting playing as a kid, and then even when you take it more serious and go and signing for Leeds, all you want to do is pull on that jersey and play first team with people who you'd admired so much growing up and watching on the telly themselves. There's some unbelievable players back in that that Graham Muddy era as well. Graham Muddy was coach, so what an unbelievable guy he was, and coach, influential coach at the time for not just for the players but for the club, I think, as a whole. He changed the mentality of the team, and it was a special time to play as well amongst some fantastic players. So I think I can't even remember whether we won, lost or drew that game. If I'm honest, I remember he's getting a bit
it's a while ago.
When I'm old, I think we lost. I think we lost to Sheffield. It's
nothing to do with you, that loss, though.
Nothing to do with me. With them more experienced players, they should have known better. They should have helped me. But no, obviously, played some decent minutes. Came off the bench. And then there's some unbelievable players then. So too many to mention. I think we looked after us, and it was fantastic. Yeah, dream come true.
Obviously, the name Ward is very synonymous with Leeds from your father David. When you did break into the team, and when you kind of became a first team member of the school, did people remind you of that, or did people kind of let you kind of go your own path and create your own journey?
I got reminded about it all the time. Everyone, my mates used to take the mick because they just called me son of, because they never said my name was never mentioned without son of. Straight after it, it was always kind of odd, son of. So they just used to call me son of all the time. That was my nickname for large parts of youth. But it was where it was. It was awesome. I've been a Leeds fan since old enough. Well, baby, literally, they were the first rugby games I came to with my mum when my dad was playing, and just growing up, that was the norm for me, knowing what my dad had done in the game and how fondly people spoke of him at Leeds, and the reputation he had. So it was I think it was a weird one for my dad as well, because he never put any pressure on me to sign at Leeds. He was coach at Featherstone at the time, and they were in the top flight, and they wanted to sign me, at Fev. And in the end, he says it's totally your decision, and left it all to me. So in that sense, the family was great, and it was just outside people, just talking about me. I think it helped because we didn't play in the same position as well, so there wasn't kind of much comparison in that sense, because we were totally different. Somehow I was built a lot heavier than my old man, so I don't know what happened there, but he was a bit of a lightweight when he was playing. But I think that certainly helped. I was playing in a different position, but ultimately it was great to have a dad who'd done such fantastic thing in the games. I was proud of what he'd achieved as well. So it was no dramas really once we got into it.
Yeah, brilliant. You obviously, jumping ahead a little there, but you played in the 2003 Challenge Cup final, your first big event there. How did you feel leading up to that one?
Yeah, very. I mean, nervous but excited at the time. We were a very young team. You know, Senior taking over captaincy at a young age. You know, Daryl was a young coach as well, and it was young bunch of mates who got to a cup final. And it was at Cardiff. We'd be used to the ones growing up at Wembley. You know, that was when Wembley was being rebuilt. But you know, it was tough. Probably, you know, come away. I think it was a bit of a what ifs, and maybe we probably just looked. We wasn't ready for, you know, when at that time Bradford were unbelievable, weren't they? You know, in that area as well. So, and how close we come. It was heartbreaking as always, but obviously that put us in good stead for going forward. You've got to learn. You know, you probably learn as much from. You learn more in loss than you do from winning these games. So it certainly put in good stead for, you know, the following year that we'd had them experiences and we'd been there and we can fix them things up. But yeah, it's fantastic to play in the Challenge Cup final. They're the ones that you watch as a kid on TV. Yeah. You know, when your first games, your first memories, you know, weren't for me going to watch, you know, it's Super League games or games like there was a Challenge Cup. It was, you know, always like hot May afternoons. Wembley was, you know, packed full. You know, class. I think the first game I remember seeing was I think it was the Castle KR final. That was like 1986. That was probably one of the first memories that I remember. And, you know, all the classic kits and just the whole occasion was unbelievable as a kid watching it. So to go to play in a cup final was a massive honour and I said just a dream come true.
What was it like playing? What was it like playing in Cardiff for that game? Because obviously it was the first indoor game, wasn't it? Effectively, what was it actually like? Could you actually hear yourself Could you hear your teammates, or was it just such a loud noise that it affected you?
Yeah, the atmosphere at Cardiff is unreal, and it's just unbelievable, especially with the roof shut. It was just something else because the fans are just so on top of you. You know, I'm not sure the attendance, but you know, Leeds Bradford brought in them back in the day. Then how big the noise was, how huge the noise was from the crowd. So I think that was the first thing that shook you when you went out for warm up, and you just had, you know 80 whatever 1,000 fans there just making that noise, and you couldn't hardly hear your mates next to you at all. It was unreal, and you're just smiling. You know, you're not even smiling to yourself. You just your face is beaming. It's like, this is, you know, pinch me. This is what dreams are made of. It's unbelievable, and just the noise. It was fantastic.
And then you touched on Daryl there. He left Leeds. Sorry, Tony Smith came in 2004. Was there much change between them coaches? Was there much change when Tony did come into the club?
Every coach is different. They has their own philosophies, and you know, different. Daryl was, you know, very early stage of his career, a fantastic playing career, and you know, it was you know, one of his first jobs. Daryl, you know, it's a long time. When you look at the career he's had since then, and backed off the experiences he gained at Leeds. You know, he was a great bloke. We'd all played with him. You know, I made the debut with him, and but Tony probably just, it was good to have that different voice from outside who was coming in. His attention to detail, you know, was fantastic. It was just something, you know, came in with Brian McDermott as well as assistant, and you know, I love working with Mac as well, and he was great for me as a young forward. So I think we probably just needed that little bit of a change, and Daryl had done a fantastic job. You know, we was a young team, and we just, you know, needed that little bit of extra just to get us over that line that following year. But Daryl, you know, we built the foundations for what was to come, I think.
Do you think, you mentioned that there, do you think Daryl Powell deserves a bit more recognition for kind of, because obviously Tony Smith kind of took us all the way and we did win the grand final, but do you think Daryl Powell perhaps deserves a bit more recognition for that kind of
100%, yeah, they all had their input back then. You know, the coaches who were there, you know, you even go back as a player, you built on, you know, like I said, I remember debuting under Graham Murray, so he instilled things on me at 18, 19 years old, you know, that I carried forward through my career. You know, Daryl had the same. He took, you know, he was a youngish side then, and you know, he started the careers of a lot of, put faith in a lot of youth there that was coming through the Leeds system, you know, went on to win many honours. So he deserves, you know, a hell of a lot of credit for what he did as a coach and taking them risks on them young players and sticking to his principles and philosophies around how he wanted the team to be and how he wanted the team to progress under certain players. So he deserves an enormous amount of credit for what he did.
Yeah, I agree with that. And obviously another final, a grand final this time, Leeds Bradford in 2004. What was the build-up like to that game, and was it any different to the game in Cardiff, so the Challenge Cup game? Because, like you mentioned, you'd had that experience, the majority of the squad, in playing in a final.
Yeah, the confidence we had as young blokes was unreal. Yeah. I remember that season, we just went from 03 where we just felt the final hurdle, and missed out on the playoffs, being by it was Wigan that year, and we came short in a few big games. Whereas I don't know, something just got instilled in us. Then we just bounced into pre-season and new coach, new regime, and it just instilled that confidence. And as the season progressed and was dominating the championship as well, we just felt invincible every time we went out to play. We wasn't going to Old Trafford for the first time for the majority of us. It wasn't a nerve-wracking experience. We were just that pumped up to get there. We knew we could get the job done, and we just zoned in on achieving what we'd set out to say. Tony told us that I think he told us we'd go unbeaten all year that year, and in pre-season, he had sat us down, and I think it was in Lanzarote, and says, you're not going to lose a game. And we always a bit shocked, like, well, you can't be saying that. That's ridiculous. But, that's the kind of belief he had in the team. And as we progressed, we just started believing that. And we was just, we just young and enthusiastic, and we just thought it was invincible.
You mentioned earlier that. Oh, go on, Laurie, sorry.
I was going to say, that pre-season, did you realise deep down that what Tony was actually saying, did that belief get proper drawn into you, or was it a case of you kind of felt like we might have to do this, or we might not be able to do this? Did you leave that camp feeling this is our season? Did you already know you were going to win it?
There were a lot of good sides round then, weren't they? Yeah, Bradford and
100%. You're saying Ellen Sides, Wiggins, all these teams were just unreal. I don't think it took a while to actually believe that, but that belief came from performance. You get confidence for how you prepare from games. You're not just going to come out of one training camp in pre-season thinking, I certainly didn't. Others might have done, but for me, my confidence always come from performing well, getting the results on the field, training hard all week. We just had such a work ethic back then. Everyone just rolled in on a Monday morning, rolled the sleeves up, and everyone just went so hard in training that come Friday, you did feel that invincibility because you put the work in. You know that your mates are doing their job. I'm always just big on people doing their jobs. Just do your job. Go out and do your job so your mate can do his job. And that's what that vibe was like, that we always had so much confidence because we'd seen it week in, week out. And as the season progressed and we're winning that many games, that was confidence was just sky high then. But it has to, you build that on the hard work that you've put in throughout the year and the trust that you've got. I'd say that we had a lot of trust in each other back then as a team, and again, just people doing their jobs and knowing that they're gonna be there for you in the game, and that's what you develop. And by the end of the season, when it's business end, it all comes together.
You mentioned that Bradford side there. Was there a specific game plan in that 2004 grand final for players like Vainikolo, or was it just like more of a team effort? Did we kind of
basically just get Shevin Colders, just keep chasing ball down behind Vainikolo, kick it behind, and then just get Colders to run. And he'd literally do that all day, just looking at unfazed. But I remember we had a couple of different game plans throughout the year against. Bradford, and that was Tony's attention to detail, and he came up with a few different game plans. I remember, one time when he just said he didn't want the forwards carrying the ball. And it was unbelievable. We looked over each other in the meeting room and right, all the backs are just going to carry. And Franny's looking at us like Franny Cummings and just like, what? We're going to do what? And just want
that's the maddest tactic ever when you think about it.
Yeah, but it was just so when we get to a kick chip, so we just get down the ball in yardage and backs carry the ball. And then we're just going to kick it long and forward. We're going to be full of energy and just going to belt the life out of the big. I remember how big their pack was. It was ridiculous. It was unbelievable. You feel massive. And Carlos and Andersons and them. So we wanted that. Yeah, just cruising around in his own yard. Look over and the training calls absolutely gassed them, doing about 30 carries a piece, getting absolutely belted. But I think we won the game, and it was not a tactic that we've used again. But it just gives an example of some different things we did to win games back then. You had to mix it up. I can't say I know we always kicked, wanted to put it behind a call that night and let Calders and Shev do the business on the big fellas, because the backs were as big as the forwards back then. But it was just a real tight game that could have gone either way, right to the death. Yeah. But we're lucky enough to execute the game plan, which in big games it's the team who does that, normally comes out on top.
Well, it worked because obviously we did win the 2004 grand final. How did that feel at the end, at the final whistle, when we'd done it, that elation? And more importantly, we've had Barry McDermott on, and he said that the 2004 celebrations were the best that he'd ever been involved in. Obviously, you were there, so must have been a hell of a bender a few days after that.
I wasn't part of that one. I probably just got an early night because, I was straight to bed and have your protein shake and an early night. That was pretty decent, as you can imagine. But that feeling at the end was just. You try to explain it to people, and it was unreal. It was we were Leeds fans. We were Leeds through. The lads there who sat on the terraces, we used to sit on the wall behind the sticks when all the kids used to stand there. I was sat there. I was watching my dad play. I was watching my dad coach. All the heartbreak that had gone through, and you speak to fans. That the pain that they had gone through not winning the comp for so long. It was how much it meant to people. In Leeds, you walk the streets of Leeds, and you'd stop and talk to an old boy who'd not seen lift some silverware for quite a lot of time. He was Leeds through and through, and they just had a great core of fans who we were them as well. So we were Leeds through and through as boys growing up. So we was a bunch of kids who come through the system, played for us, childhood team, and managed to go win the competition. It was unbelievable. You just grabbing everyone who's near you, who's crying 1 minute, buzzing the next, smiling the next, laughing the next. It was seriously like you turn and grab someone and start crying, then someone would grab you and you'd start laughing at them, and then you'd walk away on your own and start reflecting, and it was like you'd see the 40,000 Leeds fans behind the sticks just going absolutely insane, and it was like that, up, down, couldn't catch your breath, then you just buzz in, someone jumps on your back, you're away again. It was, them days are what makes it all worthwhile and what you live for, You can't even, put a price on it. It was unbelievable.
Put it this way, you lot caused me to have if I remember right, about a 3-day bender after that for just to celebrate, just for the sake of it. It caused me a lot of problems. That final, I can tell you that.
Just 3 days. That's all.
I know. I was a student. I was a student back then.
Just after 3 days. So, just getting in my stride then.
The final night, did you go to that rugby club at the South Stand in the car park? I remember there was a load of Leeds players turned up for that, and I think it was Matt Adamson and Dave Ferner were so drunk they didn't even know where they were. That's how drunk they were.
Yeah, it was a decent one. I think we slept in Skyrack for one night. I watched on a sofa with disco.
What a night!
Just walk up.
Shut the doors. They're not going anywhere.
Decent young boys enjoying themselves, but don't recommend it. Don't do that nowadays.
No, don't drink.
That's true. Yes, don't do that.
Don't do that.
It was acceptable back in the day, but not
back in my day.
You're absolutely right though in terms of the emotion, because as soon as the final whistle went, I was just in floods of tears. I was just floods of tears. But then I turned to my friends, and then we just start jumping about, and then I can't believe it, and then we'd be crying again, and just like up and down and all over. Because
I started crying.
It was something that we never expected. I know it was still the final, but I must have been about 17, 18 at the time, but I still didn't think I'd see Leeds, win the big one. My family members have said to me, like Danny said, it's been a long time since we've done it. My granddad and his friends kind of said, it's been so long to see it. The emotion was absolutely unbelievable to finally get there.
some of these Leeds fans these days don't know the ball, and they've been just celebrating success, and all they've known is success. But there's a generation before that who had to just suffer the torment of being dominated by your Wiggins in the the 80s and 90s, and
that was awful.
Bradford winning everything as your local club, and it was to suffer. It wasn't.
Don't know the born.
It wasn't just after grand final after grand final and trophies, wasn't it? Life before
it felt
that.
weird, didn't it? It felt so strange.
And everyone hated Leeds because they're always the big spenders, but they never won out, and tough times.
So then, obviously, winning the grand final means we do play in the World Club Challenge. How did you feel kind of after the grand final and knowing that the Canterbury game was happening? Was there a buzz around the squad to get stuck into these NRL boys?
Yeah, it certainly made pre-season training a little bit. And a bit more of a carrot on a stick than when you've got that in January. It was you building up to a game, and then it got announced it was going to be at Ellen Road, which absolutely made it so special. Again, just a lot of Leeds United fans in the squad, local lads. That made it 10 times more special to be playing there. We watched some quality Leeds United sides. So give a buzz around the camp knowing we was going to go into an a pre-season where we're going to be playing for World Club Challenge, something that we'd not played in before. And what a night that was! It was something special. One of the best probably team. Certainly that first 40 minutes was probably as perfect as I've ever been involved in. It was just like perfection for vast amounts of that game. I know they came back a bit in the second half, but for 40, it was like best team in the world.
Yeah. And then, similar to, was it a game plan for Canterbury, or did Tony kind of just say, just play a team game? Because obviously they played like Sonny Bill Williams there, and they were quite young at the time, but was it a bit of a game plan for them?
I can't fully remember what the game plan was. They had some quality players and some of the best in the world. They obviously play a different brand of football in Australia, and they had some big names coming over, and just play our own game really, and do what we've done for so much. Throw the ball around, enjoy yourselves, express yourselves, but do the tough stuff as well. And I think that's what we did for that night.
We did, because we beat them quite comfortably. How did it feel winning that one, lifting the World Club Challenge, another title?
Yeah, again, just that quality feeling, just winning things, playing in them big games with your mates, and tough games as well. Because although we ran into a bit of a lead, it was ridiculously tough game playing against some of the best players in Australia, and just getting that 80 minutes, going to work for each other and working hard for your mate, and coming off big games like that. It's a special feeling, and to do it in your own city, it was quality. It really felt special at the start. Something,
So obviously we'd won the grand final 2004. We'd won the World Club Challenge. Around the club at that time, was there a feeling that something special was happening? That like you say, these group of lads that are all coming through together, majority of them homegrown. Was there a feeling there that something special was happening?
I think it was. Yeah, we talk about the confidence in the club. The job that Tony and Brian were doing. It was just a real buzz about coming off the back of winning his first title. The age of the squad. The recruits that had made. For the next year as well. It was just a good time. Great time to be. Leeds a fantastic club, and just to be involved in the facilities and going into work every day with a big smile on your face. That's what we did, and it just turned out it was on the verge of something pretty special. Yeah,
it did work out pretty special because we did make it to the 2005 Challenge Cup final where a certain someone scored a try.
Yeah. Did I forget it?
I'm talking about you.
I know. Yeah. Well, it's
don't say you forgot it.
Well, I've spent many days trying to erase that day out of my life, really, because it was one of the worst days, certainly on a rugby field, that I've ever had. It was absolutely heartbreaking. That team in 05 for me was the best team I played in. It was. That team was unbelievable, and how we didn't come away without winning something that year. And certainly, they should have won. For me, should have won both. They should have won the double that year. That team was fantastic, the best team I played in. But yeah, the 05 one was just, I missed the tackle on Cookie when he scored the winner, and it was just the emotion then was just unbelievable. I remember it's just heartbreaking to watch somebody stay on the field and watch a team, win the cup, lift the cup, and especially like I say, because it was that full of confidence, and maybe a little bit of overconfidence came in, maybe a little bit of that at the time, maybe there was a little bit of invincibility, and we forgot ourselves for a little bit, and what got us to them winning positions, and thought we'd beaten Hull for, I think it was something ridiculous, like Hull on and beaten us for
a crazy streak of winning.
And maybe there was just a little bit of overconfidence, and they came out and done a real job on us, and it was absolutely heartbreaking. What I remember, I was one of the lads who got selected for drug testing after the game, and it was like down in the depths of Cardiff Millennium Stadium, and lads will tell you they just can't go after a game, just dehydrated. It took me about 2 hours after the final whistle to finally give them a decent sample. I was just sat. I think I was in my kit. I might have just still been in my kit or just in my tracks. I think it was in my kit, so don't let you leave, and just couldn't go. Lads had been in now, and I just couldn't go, and I was just heartbreaking, crying my eyes out.
Yeah.
He found me. He was waiting in the bath, man. I just never came up. It took me about 2 hours. The bus had gone back to the hotel as well, so bus went back to the hotel. Cardiff's right in the middle of the city, isn't it?
Yeah.
Cardiff's bang in the middle of the city. Right, you're gonna have to walk back to the hotel with the doctor. And I went, right, all right. I come out, and the bars are just lined with black and white. Like that. I've got my kit bag.
And you're stood in your kit still. Oh my god!
No, I don't think I was in my kit. I was in my. I put my tracky bottoms on the top. I put my tracky t-shirt on. But obviously, I'm just doing full Leeds Rhinos kit bag. It was only around the corner. The hotel was, I think it was the Hilton around the corner. So it's not far. It's probably about 200-meter walk from coming out the stadium. But because the stadium's bang in the middle of Park Central, it was just black and white, getting peppered by Hull fans all the way there.
Jesus Christ!
That was one of the toughest. Yeah, I look back and laugh at it at the time. It was like, oh my god, this is the darkest days of my life. I still wake up screaming in the middle of the night sometimes. It still gets me.
Oh god!
That sounds like the worst horror film ever.
I feel like
that is the worst horror film ever.
I feel like I'm on psychiatrist couch now, just reliving all my nightmares and that.
Let it out, Danny. Let it out.
Still wakes me up. Yeah. How long you got here? How long is it? Can we just delve into some?
We're charging you for this session.
You should do. So that was a dark one. Yeah. Anyway, let's
I can just imagine you being sat down in the depths of Cardiff Stadium, thinking, "I really need to piss just to end this hell of a day." Thinking, and then you finally have a piss and say, "Pass it to the drug. Is that okay?" It is, right. Thank God for that. I can get home, and then just coming out the stadium thinking, "Oh, for fuck's sake!"
That's what it was. It's just bang on top. It's like just walking out in the middle of Biggin on a Saturday afternoon, and it was just a sea of black and white. So a few Leeds fans there, but that's all. I could only just see the black and white fans giving me absolute grief all the way up. But
right.
Yeah. Anyway, tough one.
Should we move on?
Let's. We have nightmares again tonight.
Might drag up some more nightmares here because we did get to the 2005 grand final. Was that any easier? It's never easier losing a final, but you mentioned that 2005 cup final was a nightmare, both on and off the field. But 2005, any memories from that grand final?
I think it probably. Bradford were just on form. Bradford were on fire.
They were unbelievable at the time. Yeah,
they finished third in the league. They were poor at the start, but. You talk about timing it, hitting your straps at the business end of the season, and Bradford did that. They just peaked at the right time of the year, and I think then the Challenge Cup final was so close to the end of the season, wasn't it? I think there was only about 4 league games to go after that cup final. Certainly, I know they're coming off the back of that cup final, as you can tell, it was a bit of a nightmare. So it was a bit, the emotions that took out. I don't think we performed that great to the end. We went to Saints, and that was a quality game. I think we beat Saints in the playoffs first, and to get there, and then we were the one who had the week off. Who I think historically, if you had that week off before the grand final, it was never a good thing.
Good omen.
But I think emotionally, it took probably a lot out of us. We weren't playing consistently very well for me. And Bradford just hit the straps. I think it was kind of not one-way traffic because it was quite a tight game, but it was one of them where it felt like I was shoveling it uphill for a lot of the game. We just couldn't get near them. Really, it felt like. And fair play to Bradford, like I say, it was peaking at the right time.
Yeah, they played well, deserved it. Of course, you got chosen for Great Britain in 2004. I think, was it New Zealand you played against?
Yeah, I played against New Zealand. That was the old Tri-Nations where Australia.
Yeah, Tri-Nations, that's right. That must have been really special.
It was quality coming off, I think it was literally coming off your 3-day bender after winning the grand final, getting a call after. I remember where I was. I was in the box in Headley, and I think Brian Noble phoned us. It was for me. So it's Brian Noble. It's leading the GB squad, and I just put phone down on it and made it just.
What if it is actually him?
Do you think it was somebody winding you up there? That would have been amazing.
Yeah, of course it is. Let me get back to me. I think it was like the Monday, Sunday, we got the call, and we were literally going away on like a warm weather camp to Spain on the Tuesday or Wednesday. So he was calling around the squad and finalising that squad. And I didn't believe the first phone call. I think he had to phone me back and say, "Yeah, I'm not taking the piss. Don't hang up on me again.
Don't hang up on me again, or you won't be playing."
Do that again. Sorry. Yes, sir, I'll be there. And it was great because all I knew was just it felt like just all the young fellas out there. The Rhinos, got picked for the GB squad, at the same time for the first time as well. Disco Paley, Danny Marks, Rob Burrows. It was quality that all the young Rhinos lads were just in this together, going straight on the camp. Still rough as toast on the Wednesday when we still flew to Spain and again putting through his paces. And it was outstanding to be in the training camp. With some of the best players in the world. And it was fun.
Have we lost Danny?
I think we might have.
I think we've lost him. We might have to do a bit of filler in the meantime.
See, I remember around that time, that Leeds squad, you looked at it and it was so just full of talent, wasn't it? The quality of everybody. It was a mixture of you had your Barry McDermott, and you had other players like that who were just literally dominant, wasn't it? And he had all this young generation like Danny coming in. Or well, technically he'd been in for a while, but he was seen as the younger element. And it just seemed to work really well. And it's kind of a bit of echoes around now, hasn't it? A little bit. I don't know if that makes any sense, as in the balance of who we've got coming through.
Well, it does. I do think, and I've kind of said this earlier today, that on Radio Leeds, that this generation that we have now could create their own journey tomorrow. As we record this in the grand final against Saints, that because they've got that core again. I know he's not playing, but we've got Harry Newman, Jared O'Connor, Sam Walters, Corey Johnson. All kind of knitted in together in a similar fashion. Aledzki, where they've all come through, where it could be a very similar type of a scenario.
It's also a bit of a weird balance, isn't it? You've got to have that mix, I think, and that's what 04 and 05 team had.
Have we got you back, Danny? No, I think we're struggling with Danny at the moment. We'll just do a bit more filler whilst
you hear us.
Oh, Danny, are you back?
Was that me? Was that some press there? What happened then?
Are you all right? We've got you back. It's good.
Yeah, I've got you.
Yeah, good. We did a bit of filler, but you're all right.
It went a bit crackly.
I can't gloss over. Was it 2002? Your drop goal?
1. 2001.
Can you just obviously
on 2001?
What a birthday present! Can you just, for those that
I'm going to say Boulevard.
Yeah, can you just, for those that are perhaps listening, watching, and aren't aware, can you fill us in on it? We're struggling again, aren't we?
I still remember that drop goal. I was literally one of the best I've seen.
I need the story of how it happened.
Breaking up.
Danny, are you back?
Can you hear us?
No, we've lost him.
Yeah, I'm okay now.
Go ahead, Danny. Yeah, the story about your drop goal. Sorry.
Well, get with 2001. We're taking a really young side over to Hull. A tough place to go was Boulevard, as you know. It was an awful place, and cold, wet night. I think I was play 5, and I think it was Robbie Burrows who tried to put a grubber through, and it just ricocheted off one of their man, landed in my hands about 40 metres out, and just absolutely struck it sweet, put the right peg through it, and over it popped.
Easy, this kicking game.
And it was 6. They were winning 6-0, so it made it 6-1, which was.
I still remember watching it on TV, just going, "What was that?" I didn't think it happened. It was one of those moments of, was that meant? You know, it just struck so sweetly. It was ridiculous.
It's easy, this kicking game. Anyone can do it. Don't know why these backs are moaning about how difficult it is. I'll prop forward, pinging one over.
They got lost us again, is it?
Are you back?
I know, yeah. Still up there. Everyone reminds me of it now and again, but it's a little. See, we've got skills, and if you trust props with something, we can do it. It's we're not just fat and carrying the ball up all the time. We can do other things if we just trust it.
I mean, we've seen a few kicking conversions recently, haven't we? At end of season and bits.
It's going.
Oh, we're dropping back out. It's fine. We had this with Danny Maguire last night. It's become part of the podcast. it's our UPS. Connection issues. When we do get Danny back, we will get stuck into his teammates, because I'm interested to hear about his ex-teammates, especially the Leeds teammates. He's gone now completely, right? Because a bit of a theme in terms of teammates and ex-teammates at Leeds is the tightest member of the squad question tends to be Keith Senior. He has been mentioned once or twice. Obviously, Danny played with him, so I am interested to see if Danny thinks Senior's as tight as what
I've noticed a few people say that, which kind of makes me think it's like it can't be a squirrel. Well, no offense to Keith here by the stretch. You know, it might be one of these things of if one person has said it.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it makes you wonder, doesn't it? Maybe he's saving up all his money and stuff, which fair play, you know, rugby league.
I'd love to get him on, Keith Senior. Love to get Keith Senior on and say, right, you know, we'll do the usual. We'll do the usual lot pod. You know, your career, you're amazing. Yeah, you did this in your career, and this.
So come on, then, can we land a tenner?
Yeah. But the most important question, Keith, is who's the tightest member of the squad? Because you know, these players have all said
that you
are pretty tight, and it's in my opinion.
Do you approach it? Is it true? You know, it's that sort of thing. In fact, we could pretty much ask him. Once he gets back now, I think that's where we need to go. We need to just answer.
Keith Senior on to. Keith Senior needs to come on to defend himself. Are you back, Danny?
You're just breaking up all the time. I don't know whether it's mine, isn't it, or what?
We can hear you now. Can you hear us fine? There's a bit of a delay as well, isn't there?
Yeah, slightly.
It's live radio. The lot pod listeners have just grown.
Is it me or is it you guys? Or
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure, mate.
What's what, mate? It's hard to say, but we're doing it remotely. People are well aware of how we're doing it. Yeah, we're at the.
Yeah. Well, that's all right. Okay, now.
Oh, that's good. We'll keep this fingers
crossed. Let's fire a question at your head. Nobody move.
Don't touch anything.
Just moving on to your teammates, Danny, if you can hear me. No, we've lost him, haven't we? He's frozen, I think.
Yeah, I'm.
Oh,
keep
moving back a bit. Yeah.
We can see it, mate.
No,
there you go. We can see it now.
Do them on like that.
Right, we'll ask you a question.
Is it me? Is it something I'm doing, or is it?
No, I don't know. But to be fair, we had these issues last night as well, so it might be somewhat on our end. I'm just going to ask you a question now. Moving on to questions about your teammates. Who are some of the best players that you've played with and against?
Right, that's some question with the teams I've played in. Speak about that team back in 05. Someone like Alala Watiti, who was just for me, one of the most skillful players I've ever played with. Just unreal. Just the guys on Space Jam, the monsters, it would just put their hand around the ball and just massive and just like slam dunking all the time and just absolutely freaks. It was just a bit like one of them, weren't they? Just made the ball look like a size 3.
Yeah,
just was
like a peanut
all the time.
It's incredible.
Ridiculous. He's quality. Playing me like Danny Maguire was just special player and his Super League legend. And I was lucky. I look always players who inspired me and grew up around like Barry McDermott and Darren Flaney coming through league with them players. I always tend to people ask me that question. Look at people who were in my position who had an influence on me and packing down alongside them two at that time. Learned so much from them boys, and playing against. I think I always say Paul Sculthorpe was the best player I played against. I think he was unreal. He was a prop. He was a halfback. He was a loose forward. He could just play in any position. He had the skill. He had kind of the physicality. He was just aggressive. He was just such a good player. He just didn't know what to do, whatever position he played in. I think he was absolutely brilliant to play against, and that's same side at that time. Just some real battles against him. Kieran Cunningham, Sean Long, Paul Sculthorpe. They were the players who were ridiculous to play against.
Yeah. Who's the most boring teammate you've ever had?
That's really offensive, isn't it? Saying boring is like there's not many boring rugby lads. There's not. I know Chris Mellino when I was down in London, he used to just get peppered for being boring. But I think anybody who had half a brain cell, anybody who'd been to school and got more than like 3 GCSEs was a nerd and was like boring. So you're educated. That's how they just got deep. It was just brutal. Oh, you went to college, are you? And everyone was like, boring. So just don't think there's not many in a dressing room. Even the boring ones bring just entertainment factor with them. But like I say, Chris Mellinger was one who just got deemed as boring. He wasn't boring, but he just because he was.
Got a couple of GCSEs.
Bit of background to him.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, must be a nerd. That was just brutal. Yeah, if you read a book or you walked anywhere near a college, you got abused back in the day, so you weren't allowed to do anything other than play rugby.
What about the funniest teammate or a couple of funny teammates that you've had?
What's that, sorry?
The funniest teammate that you've ever had?
Funniest. I used to just buzz off when me and Chev got together. I always just gravitated towards him in a team meeting or on a bus journey. We just take the mick out of anybody and everybody, and just that's kind of very similar sense of humour in that sense. So it was he was always good fun to be around.
Yeah, good player as well. Underrated, I think.
Yes.
Massively.
Yeah, very much so.
What about the tightest teammate you've ever had?
Keep saying it out now. Yeah, but probably everybody will give you that answer.
Correct, they have.
Everybody has, yeah. Have we got any stories?
Danny Maguire said that, didn't he? He said Keith. Barry Mackey said Keith.
Franny Cummins. What else have we had on?
I don't even know if we could give any examples, but yeah, he's just well known for being this man in the world.
Tightest man in the world.
Confetti on elastic. That's what he gets. That's right.
What a man!
But no one knows why. It's just a great mystery.
No, we're just saying we're gonna have to try and get Keith on to defend.
You have to finish your question. I was like, keep seeing.
The quickest answer we've ever had on here, I think.
He's what?
He's gonna have to come on and defend himself.
I won't wait for electric to come on, mate. I won't be able to sit here in front of a computer. I won't charge it for that long. So, sat in dark with lights on. This Keith now be sat in dark.
The candle.
I could see a couple of candles behind him.
That's it, yeah.
Poor Keith. He's never going to come on here if we keep rinsing him. What about?
He's going to get me now.
He'll get you now.
Cut this bit out because he'll get all aggressive.
Yeah, he's a tough guy. What about the biggest moaner? Has ever been a big moaner with the teammate in the team?
Biggest moaner.
Where's he gone?
Probably Keith.
Keith again.
I'd say, yeah, him Franny on a wing. Ryan Sheridan moans. He's the most miserablest man. Probably Shez. Closely followed by Keith and Franny. I had to drive in the car. They picked me up when I was a kid. We all came from Dewsbury on the Dewsbury bus. Keith, Shez, and Franny, and that was a negative. That was a negative car, yeah.
Negative bus.
It was a negative bus. Shez, a young kid, like that. That's it. Yeah. Keith moaning about probably pulling money off everybody. Shez just being just little man syndrome, just being angry at everybody.
I bet that was a delight, actually. I bet some conversations in that were interesting to say at least.
Yeah.
I've got a question here, by the way. This one, it's in players. Which player would wind any person up on the pitch for you? Which was the worst teammate who would wind up a fellow teammate?
Oh, sorry.
Which of your teammates would wind up another teammate the easiest? Who would be the ultimate wind-up merchant?
Have we lost?
What was that? We broke up just to saying you can leave that now.
Biggest wind-up merchant at the club. Is anybody a big wind-up merchant?
Oh, fuck's
Adding to the drama, this.
I know.
I just build up. What was it? Biggest wind-up merchant.
Biggest wind-up merchant. Yeah.
Scott Morrell, 100%. Scott Morrell is absolutely
relentless.
Oh my God, it's just painful. Yeah, but so funny. You can't get mad at him, but he's just a pest, isn't he? Just on and off the pitch, he's just a pest. It's
I can't believe he's just retired, though. That's the thing. Yeah. I genuinely can't believe he's played
for career.
I know he's had this longevity. Yeah. I can't believe it.
Well, that's it. When you just I don't win, not making any tackles, and he's holding the dinner so looked after himself. He's got the rig, and he's just
yeah.
What a legend is! Absolutely love him, but he's just a wind-up. It's good watching him wind up other people. But you'll see, like Aussies who come over who just have no clue. I remember when Jamie Soward came over and played at London and played Halifax, and he just came off the pitch like, oh, the F is that number 6 Halifax, and what's his problem? And we just met Scott Morrell. I do that to you. I'll wind you up into his head.
You'll never forget him.
That's it. Face you can't forget.
That's it. Yeah. He's a wind up. Yeah.
Easily. Just moving on to our listener questions now. We've been sent a load of these for you. This one's from Emily. What is Danny's favourite drink? Sorry. What is Danny's favourite pub drink and pub snack?
Oh,
drink, right? Probably like this. Probably everyone will just think, right, you're lying. But Shandy,
No.
Shandy, it's absolutely. You could do that. If we train in the summer on a Monday or Tuesday, we go have Shandy Tuesdays where we just go and have about 2 pints of Shandy, go to like the original Oak or something like that, sit in the beer garden and just drink Shandy. It's outstanding in the summer, and everyone just think, right, that's a lie because you obviously piss can. No, that as a pub drink in the summer is unrivaled, and it's snacks. I don't know. I would probably say the dry roasted nut or a scampi fry.
Dry roasted is unbeatable. It's a classic. It'll never die out. Dry roasted has to be.
Scampi fries though. Oh no, can't deal with them.
Are you back? I think we lost Danny. What's the next question? Favorite food?
Oh,
when we get him back. From Danny, funnily enough. Danny to Danny, favourite food?
Are you sure it's not him who's put the question in?
Not now.
Oh,
might be Danny Maguire. Are you back?
No, you're going again.
The next question, Danny, if you can hear us when you come back. What's your favourite food? Has he gone?
I think so.
I don't know if it's us or him. We did have a couple of issues with Danny Maguire last night, though. You'll just see laptop just go.
It'll be a different part of the room when it comes back.
You'll just see camera spinning. Load the swear words and then.
We'll be like, what's going on here?
Thanks to Danny Ward for coming on.
You know, like how we see like an international feed that's gone and it's just those like colourful lines across the screen.
Yeah.
It'd be like that. It was like, okay.
Remember End of Programming, like on Channel 4? I'd just
you used to have that little girl with
that little girl. Yeah, that'll be Danny's thing. Oh, he's gone. Oh, he's back. Are you back? No, he's gone.
No, he's not.
This is a podcast in itself. Is Danny Ward with us? Or is he not?
So what is your favourite food then? Anyway.
We might as well answer it. What's your favourite food, Loz? It is a mailbag.
You say you can't beat a good curry. I don't care. A good curry, decent naan. Perfect. That's mine.
I've never, I don't believe that when people kind of say, oh, I'm not a believer, sorry, in like when people say you have to drink something with what you're eating. Does that make sense? So people say, oh, if you're having a steak, you must have a red wine or whatever. I'm like, not really, but beer and curry is just dynamite.
Yeah, it works. Yeah,
absolutely dynamite. I don't know what it is. It's just absolutely ideal.
It's perfect. It is the perfect meal, isn't it?
I don't eat many curries, to be honest, because my wife doesn't like spicy food. So unless I make one myself, and then I eat by myself, but we don't go out for them. That's what I mean. Every time we go out to eat, it's never a curry. We've lost Danny Ward, by the way.
So this is just
gone AWOL. This is now. We should just end it. Yeah, we should just end it with the answering Danny Ward's questions for him. Well, I think Danny Ward would.
Yeah, what would he answer? Yeah, I think I
this.
Well, he's been in London. Fillet steak. There you go. No joking. I don't know. Yeah.
We might as well do the next question, haven't we?
We can try answer it.
Squeeze it out. See if he comes back. Who was your rugby league idol growing up, Laurie?
Andy Hay.
No way.
Come on, with that offload and that dummy. That was amazing. It was the worst. Right. Sorry, Andy Hay, if you're listening. Generally, I'm not taking a mick. I used to have 16 and Hay up back of my shirt. Can't lie. I remember him playing against Bradford. I think he was at 99 or 98. And he did a dummy and right in front of the south stand. Amazing. Anyway.
I'm back. Got you.
I hope, mate.
Can edit all this shit out, can't we?
We can get
it. Danny, what's your favourite food? Yeah. It's a question from Danny.
Why are these all food-based questions?
It's this podcast. It makes you really hungry.
It's just Favorite food. I love Mexican food. I could literally move a Mexican food. Are just sensational. You know, tacos, quesadillas, anything spicy, just like that. I could literally, move to Mexico and eat that for the rest of my life. I think,
Lovely.
Good choice.
Jack asks, who was Danny's rugby league idol growing up? Do you have any idols?
Paul Harrigan was mine. Yeah, apart from my dad.
All right,
Obviously. Paul Harrigan. I used to love watching, the old State of Origins and Aussie rugby back then. And I think the Chief was certainly one when I knew I was going to be watching him and the battles he had. He was up there as probably one of my idols. Yeah,
class player.
Yeah, awesome player. Callum asks. Has Danny found much differences between coaching rugby league and rugby union? I think we've lost him again, haven't we? That was such a good question.
I
know. I mean, there's about the technicalities of the game. It's still 15, 13 blokes going out in the field and trying to do very much similar, get the ball over the opponent's line and belt them defensively. And the simplicities there. And it's been great to go over and test myself at a different core. I've loved every minute of it. It's a great bunch of people there, and there's so many similarities in what you're trying to do. I think union is a lot more technical, and you're working on a lot of different aspects rather than leagues almost like you're doing attack and defence. Whereas union, you've got your lineouts and your scrums and your different units and specifics around your day that you've got to train as well. But it's still same mentalities that go on a field and wanting to go out and make your tackles and throw the ball around, and so many coaches now crossing over and you see that crossover. You see a lot of league play in union now, and from people who've taken it over. Likewise with the union D is very much like goal line D in rugby league. So there's lots of similarities. It's just a few different rules in there. It's still getting me head around, but enjoying it. Just good to be out on the field and coaching. I love coaching. Love helping develop players in whatever it is and whatever age. Just love coaching the game. I can't get enough of it.
Do they? This may sound a daft question to ask, but seeing as you're a league guy going into union, did you find anybody treating you differently, sort of thing, when you went into the coaching aspect, or was you opened with welcome arms?
No, everyone's been fantastic. Yeah, apart from don't understand an accent half the time. I have to slow down. It's just sometimes look at me like, what are you talking about?
What have you just said?
What was that nonsense that's just come out of your mouth? You're all like London lads who speak. But no, they've been fantastic. I say they've made that. Because I've been home to not gone in there and tried saying this is how we do things. There's lots of the games that I don't know. I want you to help me. I'm constantly asking questions to the players, to the staff, and wanting to learn off them as much as I'm there to coach them as well. So it's definitely a two-way street, which they've been fantastic about. Yeah, it's a real good group to work with.
Do you think because obviously we've seen yourself go from coaching the Broncos to rugby union. Kevin Sinfield left the Rhinos and has gone to Leicester. Andy Farrell's working wonders with Ireland. I think there's Martin Gleeson and Paul Deacon as well with roles in rugby union. Do you think Barts Rugby League has a bit of a problem in keeping? Because we'd love all those mentioned in yourself in our game, rugby league. But do you think there's a bit of a problem there trying to keep these coaches in our game, or do you think it's just more attractive over there, or how do you kind of see why this is happening?
It's a tough one. I think the game is bigger. Union is bigger.
Oh, it's much more prestige and platform. Absolutely,
at a faster rate. Certainly the international game as well, and people want you want to coach at top level as high as you possibly can, and experience as much as you can. And when you see you know how they do, you know, things like, you know, your World Cups, your Six Nations, things like that. You know, watching on telly, and you want to be a part of, you know, the resources that the clubs have, you know, so bigger than what, you know, league can compete with as well. So, you know, the amount of coaches that you have, specialist coaches in Union, you know, there's so much more. And yeah, I think some people just do it for the challenge of going and learning a different code as well, and wanting to develop themselves. And there's not a lot of league jobs really. You know, you look how many full-time league coach jobs there is. There isn't a lot to be. You talk about people there who are coaching Union. You know, where would you accommodate them? You know, in a rugby league setup as well. So there's not as many full-time jobs there. So sometimes you've got to go to where you can get a gig, and you know, if that's Union, because you know they might have 4 or 5 different coaches in each team rather than league just having a couple. Then there's a lot more opportunities at the minute in Union. But you know, it is a shame to lose, you know, some fantastic coaches, some characters of the game as well, and some, you know, fantastic players who've got so much to give to rugby league as well. It's a shame to lose them, but you know, it's going, and it's not to say that they're not going to come back. You know, just because they've gone to Union for a few years, you're still developing in a similar game. Still,
could still return to rugby league. Yeah. Have we still got you, Danny? Oh, go on. I think I had one more question about the grand final.
The big event.
Are you back down?
You know, back into rugby league in a few years' time.
Yeah. Awesome. Oh, he's gone. He's gone. Yeah, he's gone. It's for people watching this, you can kind of see his screens buffering. I just want to kind of finish it. Thanks everybody for listening. Sorry about the technical issues. We are live. We are at the demand of internet connections. We're doing it remotely. We're all sat in our living rooms or kitchens, or whatever. So this kind of thing does happen. Are you back, Dan?
I am back. Yeah. Let's keep going for another
hour. Yeah, thanks a lot for coming on. We really appreciate your time. It's been an absolute honour to have another grand final winner on. Speaking of grand finals, you've won one. Leeds are playing, as we record this, against St Helens tomorrow. How do you see the Rhinos' chances in the big dance?
Yeah, I think they'll win. That's not just me saying it because I'm on a Leeds podcast.
Yes, you can come back on.
I genuinely think we spoke about it. I'm on a Saints podcast in 10 minutes. I'll say the exact opposite. Genuinely just think. Leeds. No, I think we spoke about earlier about, you know, that Bradford team in 05 coming in on the back of some big victories, and they just seem to be, you know, hitting the straps now at the business end of the year, and they're confident, and the confidence is a huge thing, and you know they're playing well at the back end, and I think it's all there. I think Saints, a bit more pressure on them, not as much pressure on Leeds, and just to go out and
that's exactly how I see it.
Yeah, I think they will. They're expected to go out and win. You know, the talk of them winning 4 on the bounce and all that's gone into it. You know, the bits of nonsense that's been surrounded. They'll build up this week, but I think, genuinely think they've got a massive chance. And the longer it goes on, you know, I'd back Leeds.
To do it. Brilliant. Appreciate it.
Mate. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, take care. Thanks everybody for listening.
You too,
see you on the next podcast.
See you later. Good luck tomorrow.
Cheers, man.